Rosalyn Kahn is a college professor of public speaking at Los Angeles City College. She's a serial entrepreneur, humanitarian, and speech coach. Ms. Kahn has been an educator for the last 20 years teaching public speaking and English as a second languages in colleges and high schools throughout Southern California. Several years ago, she attended her first TEDx conference in Pasadena. She was immediately drawn into the TEDx fever. Please welcome Rosalyn Kahn, Reset for Success, Rosalyn Kahn.
All right. This talk here is going to be a little different than some of the other ones that we've seen. It's going to be highly interactive. So please, when I ask you some questions, don't feel shy, don't feel reserved, but jump in and go ahead and participate. That is, of course, when you're called upon. So stepping up to success. And today we're going to talk about 3 areas: self-care, time management, and rituals. So let us go to the next one. So if those of you who don't know me and wonder who I am and what I'm all about, let me tell you a few little bits and pieces. I've been in public speaking for over 30 years, and I've taken on many speaking and leadership opportunities. I've been teaching public speaking for over 20 years. I've been on the TEDx stage 3 times. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, and I've coached people for the TEDx stage. Now, don't get scared. Don't get worried. It's okay. I'm just a regular, average, everyday person. And today we're going to talk about the self-care, the art of speaking. No, don't get worried. It's okay. We'll be all right. So many people wonder, what is self-care? And we talk about simply, it's really going ahead and taking care of ourselves. It's listening to our basic needs and being a person who advocates for ourselves. So when I got on here very early and they said, you've got 3 hours, and they said I could do whatever I wanted. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe all the stuff I went ahead and did. But I carefully listened in. If there was something to say, I took the time to do that. And all the things I wanted to do earlier today, I got the time to do that. I had the time to go out and take a little walk because I need to walk before I exercise. And so it's all in the means of what it means of being an advocate for yourself. Now, there are 7 pillars. And when you hear about the 7 pillars, it reminds me of the 7 habits of highly effective people. So when you hear the idea of knowledge and health literacy, tell me what goes ahead and comes to your mind. What do you think about? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Higher learning.
Means higher learning. And what would be something that you would go to for higher learning?
University.
Okay, you might go to university. What else could you do?
I'd forever Google things.
I'm sorry?
I'm forever Googling things. If a question comes up and I don't know the answer, I just grab my phone and look it up.
No, that's absolutely correct. You know, they say the moment you stop learning, you stop living. And so one of the things, I belong to many different groups, and they sometimes try and learn, what if you made it your goal to learn a word a day? And what if you put it on your phone to find out some new interesting information about health? And what if you came to a Toastmaster meeting and you decide, hey, I read this really interesting thing about health and I wanted to share it with you of what I learned, and we could all help each other. That could be one thing we could do to improve our knowledge in healthcare. When we talk about mental well-being, what do you think that means? Anybody?
Looking after your own mental health.
And how could we do that?
A whole range of ways. Exercise is very good for our mental health, making sure we get enough sleep.
Yes.
If we need to, managing our, if you've got anxiety or depression or something like that, making sure that you take care of those things. Adds into social connections.
Exactly.
Make yourself happy, surrounded by supportive, positive people.
Beautiful.
Meditation.
healthy hobbies like taking walks, or maybe taking up a healthy hobby like crocheting could be a good mental health habit.
Ah, you guys are right on. Let me give you another one. One of the ones I've heard is really important is spending 30 minutes a day unplugged. Can you imagine going for a walk and not taking your phone with you? It might be kind of hard for me because I love to take pictures when I'm going, but just a matter of 30 minutes a day without going to your phone. Another interesting thing I heard is, could you all try this tomorrow? When you wake up in the morning, don't pick up your phone and look and see what your phone says. And oftentimes we look at that phone and we're, oh, I forgot to, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, I didn't do that. But they say, if you spend that first time when you get up in the morning by doing something really positive, positive affirmations, it's amazing how your life can change. Now, I want to hear or see a show of hands. If you go out and do physical activity in the morning, very early, I want everyone to unmute themselves and say, I do.
I do.
I sometimes do.
I used to.
I do.
I used to.
Well, I've heard only
I don't.
5 or 6 people. Let me wait a few seconds longer. Come on, let me hear.
Physical activity
I do,
in the
I do.
house,
I do.
Okay. Oh, good. I feel better now. And so here's the important.
exercise in the home.
Oh, this is beautiful. I'm glad to hear all of those that you that do. I'm glad to hear all of those that you that do. That is beautiful. So one thing that would be really nice is imagine if you got out of bed and the first thing that you did is you got up and you reached your hands towards the ceiling, and then you reached your hands towards the floor and you did 5 sit-ups, 5 jumping jacks before you left your bed. Could you all do that?
You mean now?
When you get up in the bed tomorrow.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And they say that when you begin your day with that physical activity, it goes ahead and it wakes up your mind, it gets your blood flow on it. It's really, really a powerful, powerful thing. Now, when you think of healthy eating, what's the one thing that's missing from your diet that you think you should have?
Greens,
Fruit.
I'm sorry?
Don't eat enough fruit.
Right.
vegetables.
Vegetables. Anybody else?
Everything in moderation.
Well, everything is in moderation, but I once heard in a diabetes prevention class, and you look at me and you say, you have problems with diabetes? No, it runs in the genes. There's a few other things that cause it, stress. But they say that you should have every color of the rainbow in your diet throughout the day. I go ahead and I begin my day with a green drink. I take all the vegetables that are in my refrigerator and throw them into the blender, and I have soup every morning to get some more greens in there, and have a fruit drink that I go ahead and drink. And throughout the day, it's making sure that you get some of those. Now, then there's the risks, things that we need to avoid. And I'm sure nobody on this call has any of those problems: smoking, drinking, too much media. You guys are all innocent of that, correct? I heard a bunch of people taking the fifth, so I guess I must have made the wrong assumption, but you want to make sure that
I don't smoke or drink. So,
I'm sorry.
I don't smoke or drink, but
Well,
I
that's good. That's one
can't
of us
say
is
the
good.
same about looking
Correct.
at displays.
Right. Okay. And the next one we talk about is good hygiene. We don't all need to conserve water, but it's a good thing to go ahead and make sure you wash your face, you brush your teeth, and you take that shower. And when we talk about the rational use of products and service, what do you think they're talking about there?
To be mindful of your consumption, particularly of non-renewable resources. So I certainly actively work on limiting my use of plastic.
Beautiful. Anyone else?
I think, any products that you might apply to your skin or et cetera, like, making sure that they are healthy products Obviously, you can see I've lost my hair.
Oh,
Using
no.
Unacceptable shampoos.
Oh, wow. That's
No.
horrible.
That was a joke, Rosalyn.
I'm sorry, I was
Lotion,
just playing
deodorant.
with you.
Gavin.
Well, it's always good to have a jokester amongst us. You know, I once watched this show, I can't remember where it was, and it talked about how you can save money on what you buy and you use and things like that. And it's like I make soup, and instead of rinsing out the pot right away, I put a little water in, I put that in the soup. If there's, you know, you go to the farmer's market and they give you the celery and the celery stalks, you don't throw those away. I take my artichokes, and you know, you don't eat the whole artichoke. The most beautiful part of every vegetable is when you cook it in water. Those are full of nutrients. Don't throw it away. Use that in a batter for your next soup. You know, throw the carcass in from the turkey and throw all the leftovers in. You can use those things and reuse those things and so forth. If you learned something on the 7 pillars of the self-care, go ahead and say, I did.
I did.
I did.
I
I
did.
did.
I did.
Wow. Fantastic. We're almost like a symphony here. I love it. So
I
let's,
did.
oh, wonderful. That's great. So everything in life is a journey. And I was saying to a good friend of mine that if we don't get it right the first time, sometimes these things happen again and again and again for us, and we get the chance to learn it over again. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, because I seem like a pretty happy-go-lucky person, but you know, life isn't always a trip to the park or anything like that. I've been teaching in the public community colleges with a lot of stress and politics. So I've been teaching for about 20 years. And in my 20 years, I was recently awarded the best teacher of the whole college. In addition to that, my students for many years have won as the best students in public speaking. And despite all those things, I have some troubles. I have some challenges. There are many people who say that I put more time into my class than any other person who does on that campus. And we all know that we put speeches together, they can be really frustrating. Imagine if I was up here and no one responded, I go. So I'm glad that I have all of you, and you guys can help me out, because it can be kind of rough. But and sometimes things in Toastmasters didn't go well, and out of Toastmasters. But we need to keep moving forward, because anytime we stop learning, we stop living, and the world goes and comes on hold. And so here's some things I want you to do. I'm going to give you a laundry list of things that you can do. And if you can just do a couple of them, imagine what could happen. The first thing is to make a gratitude list. Now, there's a saying about this gratitude list. There's a science of it. And they say, if you start writing a gratitude list every day for the next 30 days, you will begin to see life as a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. How many of you already work on a gratitude list? I guess I got a new hobby for you guys. Think about something positive that you could be grateful. It could be something simple of having 10 fingers, 10 toes. It could be having a mind that works. It could be having a sense of humor. It could be looking good. It could be being a smile, having a job, having food in the refrigerator. There are so many things. It doesn't have to be getting a worldwide something that makes it a good day. It could simply be a flower that you saw, or an animal. There's so many things that can be grateful for. There's also having friends to talk to. Gosh, friends certainly make my day brighter, and I'm sure I have several of them who are out here listening to me right now. There's also reading. So I want to ask you in the audience here, what's a good book that you think that you've read that might be a good book that others could read?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The Power of One.
Oh, yes, yes.
5 love languages.
I'm sorry?
5 love languages.
That is great. That is really
Yeah.
wonderful. Any others?
It's all about showing up. The power
Oh,
is
yes.
in the asking. Volume 2.
Yes, yes, yes. I know that book. Famous GSC, Global Society Female Executives book. Well, there's a book that I have. It's called A Message for Tomorrow's Leader, about the pandemic, the protests, and the riots. And there's an author by that. And another one I have is Dogs and Roses, How to Reduce Stress and Anxiety. But You know, those are just a few. There's many of them out there. But how many of you practice the world of meditation?
Yep.
Sometimes I do if I get too anxious.
They say that meditation is the one thing that each and every one of us can do to lengthen our life and lengthen our span. There's a student in my class, and he begins every day. He says he jumps out of bed and he goes right to that yoga pad and he starts his meditation. You see, one of the challenges that so many of us have in our life is they call them monkey brains. Our mind is running in 15 to 20 different directions. And it doesn't matter the meditation, it's all the quieting of the mind. So imagine, I've done this practice called Vipassana. It doesn't matter what religion you come from, doesn't matter what background you come from. It's just a quieting of the mind. And they say if you simply focus on the breath and you feel the air that comes through your nose and your nostril and it comes down your lip, and you just focus on that. And when your mind goes ahead and goes off, you can come back and just focus on taking that breath. There's a great practice that I can recommend to each of you. It's called Vipassana, Vipassana. And it's online, it's free. They have this thing that's for 15 minutes. And it has a bell that goes off every 5 minutes so that you know that you're 1/3 of the way done, 2/3 of the way done, all the way done. And if each of us began this process of meditation each day, imagine what it could do. There's a study I read of a city in Chicago that had the world's worst crime. And when they began the meditation in that community, the rate of the crime actually went ahead and dropped. So imagine what that meditation could do for your life. Oh, the next one is my fun one. And I recently just found myself a new hobby. I was really stressed out with something that was happening in my life. And I just started watercoloring. And it is the most beautiful, fun thing that there could be. Some people like to do crochet. Some people like to work with wood. Some people like to go out in nature. Or some people like to tinker with technology and things like that. Find something that when you do that, time just flies. And you know, when you do that thing, it takes your mind away from all that other stuff that's bothering you. And then of course there's good old exercise. And as we were waiting before and I was doing my 1, 2, 3 counts and so on and so forth, there's some simple stretches that each of us can do each and every day that can get that blood boiling from, like I said, getting up, stretching your hands to the ceiling, put your hands to the floor, do 5 sit-ups, 5 push-ups, and you're exercising. It gets your mind going. And then there's my all-time favorite. How many of you are pet owners? Can I hear from all the pet owners?
Yes, me.
Yes.
Cat person.
Cat
Cat
Awesome.
person.
Anybody else?
Pets.
Cats, pets. Well, pets are really the answer that simply make me happy. I was down visiting my sister in San Diego. She has this dog named Bailey. Bailey's a girl. And she would want you to rub over on her back and rub your tummy and hold her up. And she would give you kisses and she'd snuggle up next to you. And we had a staring contest and she and I were staring at each other. And it's like, as I looked in her eyes, I think she could understand absolutely. Oh, isn't that a cutie? Hey, baby. Oh, look at that pretty kitty. He's so cute. And they certainly can know and feel what we do and help us out when things don't go well. It's those loving, beautiful animals. Thank you for bringing her to the screen here. She is beautiful. And I probably messed her up as well. It's a he, right?
She spends a lot of time on Zoom.
Oh, she knows this. She says, oh, this is great. This is good stuff. I love this. This is good, 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 good. So hopefully in this list of 7 or 8, each of you probably picked out 1 or 2 of them. All agree, say aye.
Aye.
Great.
I.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so we'll do the next one here. So the next one is all of us on this platform here are speakers. And so some of you asked what I was drinking over there. No, it's just hot tea. And you want to make sure, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but I always say, you know, you're drinking enough water when you look at the stuff that comes out and it's a pale yellow. If it's bright yellow, you're in deep, 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 deep trouble. That's not too good. I also read this thing that you want to make sure that you eat until you're full and don't overeat. When you're finished eating, stop eating. Make sure you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's a good number. It's not irrational. It's not a thing of choice of I can only live with 1 hour. You want to get that balanced hour of sleep. There's also yoga. And yoga helps us to strengthen our muscles, strengthen our mind, and they're very good for all parts of the bodies. And if you could take either yoga or meditation into your mind, I began with some exercises that some of us do before we're speaking, and that's raising the hands up above the head, raising your hands down to your floor, going ahead and rubbing those areas here. Really good to warm up the muscles in there. And then there's also vocal exercises we can do. So I want everyone to say these with me. We're going to say the letters of the alphabet, and we're going to elongate each sound. Everybody with me? So here we go. Here's the A, and everybody open your mouth like you're saying ah at the doctor. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah. What happened? You guys stopped. And next, we're going to pretend like we're a cat and we see something and we're scared to death and go, Okay, next one is the E. Everyone go, E. And we're going to pretend like we're in the opera and we're going to go, oh. And then you go, ooh. And they say these are really good exercises that you can do before you begin a speech. Now, the next one here is one I need to tell myself 100 times, and it's this one. And I think probably some of you could agree with this. Don't be so hard on yourself. How many would agree sometimes they're really rough on our own selves?
Yep.
Yep. You need to remind yourself that you're only doing the best that you can. And there's this guy by the name of Michael Beckwith, and I listened to this thing, Bob Baker, on his points of inspiration. And the favorite one he says is, I am enough. And I want you to write this down. I am enough. I am enough. When we're too hard on ourselves, I want to give you 2 of my favorite gifts. And they are this. Don't compare yourself to others. And remind yourself each day you're doing the best that you can do, the best that you can do. So just be that best that you can be. And don't look at what those other people do. And that's them. You're you. The other one is be kind to others. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they've done too much. Maybe somebody got mad at them. Just be kind. And we're all learning. There's something we can learn from each and every one of us. And all of our life gives us plenty of practice. Did you learn something good here?
Sure did.
Which was one of your favorites?
All
I'm sorry?
of them.
Awesome. Cool. Anybody else?
Don't be hard on yourself.
Oh, that is so true. So true. Anybody else?
Eat and sleep well.
Eat and sleep well. Right on. Anyone else?
Don't be hard on yourself.
Go ahead.
Don't be hard on yourself, and remember we're all learning.
Oh, that is so important. That is so important. I'm so grateful that all of you are participating because we're learning together. So now we're going to move to the world of time management. Tips and tricks to better time management for a stress-free life. How many want to sign up for that program? Yep. Okay. So here we go. We're going to change the pace. Now there's a couple things we want to talk about here. One is called the Ivy League method. The other is time blocking by Ben Franklin. And then we're going to talk about the rationale of how this time management can work for all of us. Now, there's a good friend of mine, and this is my friend Fred. Fred is a real estate agent, but he's always educating me. And he said, there's one thing, Rosalyn, I really want to help you with. And if you do this method, many of the most successful presidents of the United States and the best people in the world have followed this method. And they say, set a time. And so the time that I set for myself, and you can pick your own time, is 4 o'clock every day. And I have an alarm that goes off on my clock at 4 o'clock every day. Now at 4 o'clock every day, I need to list 6 topics, 6 things I want to do. And he says, write them down in pencil because you're going to race, you're going to move, and you're going to and then you want to go ahead and prioritize them. What comes first, what comes second, what comes third. And you don't want to move on until you finish the first one. So I had this situation at a school I was working with, and it was really tough and it was really bothersome. And I kept beating myself up, but I said, Rosalyn, you're doing what the most important thing is. That's the first most important thing. And I went back and I reread it, and it said, the most important thing, I want you to write this down, is you need to rewrite the list every day. You need to rewrite the list every day. Because even though that's still on the top, you might move something that's on the second to maybe the third or the fourth or the fifth or the sixth. And so we're looking at them as urgent, important, not urgent, not important, not urgent, not important, not urgent, not important. And this is the method, that the Ivy method and the Eisenhower matrix. Have you guys ever heard of this before? Yeah, has it worked? Have you found benefit out of doing this?
I've tried using it for, I call it my TTD list, but it changes from day to day because I end up adding in new things. So it can change very drastically the next day. So almost everything from the previous day gets kicked out. If I'm lucky, that's a good list.
No, that's absolutely true. And that's why we need to look at it every day, because different things go ahead and pop in and pop out and pop over. So that's one method. And let me go ahead and show you what the next one is. The next one is this one. It's called the Ben Franklin method. And what is amazing is how what Ben Franklin said many years ago can work for all of us. Now, you take a piece of paper and you write down every single hour of the day. And then you write down, what are the activities? I need to go to work. I need to do my exercise. I need to follow up on my Toastmasters meeting. I got to work on my book. What are the different things I need to do? And you put them in blocks. And so Ben Franklin said he'd wake up every day. He would do his meditation. He'd do his prayer. He'd write his gratitude list, and he would do some exercise. And then when it was 9 through 12, he had his mind to the grindstone, and he would work out whatever he was doing. At 12 o'clock, he took a break. Books are closed, work is done, clear off the table. He would eat, and he would do some other mental stimulation that didn't involve work at all. He got back to the grind from 1 to 5, did those things that he needed to do, got them out of the way. And at 5 and 6, it was simply eating dinner. He spent some time with the family. He did some hobbies, and he did those till about 8 o'clock. And then one of the most important things about this one and the other one is at the end of the day, you look at your list of accomplishments and achievements, and you do a review. What are the things that you're proud of? What are the things that you learned today? What do you want to go ahead and do different tomorrow? Set up those goals. Read something that makes your mind relax. There's a book of meditations. I have a book, it's called For Women Who Do Too Much. It has all sorts of different sayings. The Power of Now is a really healthy book to go ahead and look at it, going ahead and simplifying. You could take a book from the verse from the Bible or whatever you read that's important to you. But the most important thing is reviewing the day and setting up what you need to do the next day. Sound good?
Sure does.
All right. So let's look at what is the rationale of why we need to, what's the rationale for time management? If we're going to take care of ourselves, we need to manage our time, or otherwise we're taking care of ourselves, but things are just getting out of control. And you can't do that when you're rushing around. The most important thing about time management is prioritizing and completing what you set up as your priorities. And so when we look at this time management, it's important for self-care. And so we can see these hands, we got the tasks, we got the to-do, we got the priorities, we got the projects, we got the planning, we got the achievements. And I have this magazine that I read many years ago, and it had me write these 3 lists, and I want to share them with you. And it said at the end of each day, write down what you're proud of, what it is that you learned, and what you're going to do different tomorrow. And it's interesting when you simply write these things down, life isn't just going ahead and passing itself by, but you have a record of where you were, what you did, and you've got something to reflect and to go back on. Did you pick up something new on the time management, something that will work for you? Anybody?
Yep.
All right. Well, at least Marie did. I feel better. At least Marie did. I feel better.
It's
I totally agree with Rosalyn about checking. I do that with my husband. I check in what's the best thing about your day today and one thing you could improve for tomorrow. So good exercise.
Good, good. It's good seeing you, my friend. Tim is my best friend. He's the one who suggested I come here today. So thank you, Tim. Awesome. So next thing we're going to talk about, rituals are a way to set habits that become automatic routine that improve your overall state being. So I'm going to give you some ways that we can create these rituals in our lives to make them to be bigger, richer, better. So let's look at rituals. Rituals can be prayer. And prayer comes in many different languages, but here's the trick and the secret. All religions, regardless of what they are, have some of the same basic principles that we can add to our life of being kind to one another, not killing, not committing adultery, and we could go on and on of what those things are. But I belong to a group, it's called Thrivers. Any of you are interested in that, they get up early in the morning, but they set out 6-week plans, 12-week plans, and they always say the best laid plan is the one that begins with today and goes ahead and continues tomorrow. We've talked about the importance of yoga. And the next thing I want to tell you all is the power of exercise. If you can't do any of the above, go out and walk. Simply go out and walk 5 minutes a day and increase it by the next week, maybe 6 weeks, make it 7 weeks, make it 8 weeks, and so on. And then I want to put this circle on this one. There's really a power of journaling. I hope that's spelled right because it looks really wrong to me right now. But journaling is when you write down what happens. And I love the power of journaling because on a good day, I can write some amazing, powerful, powerful words. And sometimes I don't have enough time to do it. But the time that you spend writing down your experiences and what you think about them and what they mean to you are some of the most important things because we're all individuals inside. We don't think the same way. I don't say you have to share it with anyone, but putting your words on a piece of paper gets them out of you and gives you a way to release them. Now, I want everyone to sit up straight and tall. Everyone sit back in their chair. Now, put your hand on your abdomen here. Put your hand right here. And as you take a deep breath in, you should feel this go ahead and come in. So everyone go take a deep breath and go, and you feel that go in and let it out. And it comes out. Take another deep breath in, inhale. And slowly exhale. So we're going to do this on the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone taking a deep breath of 4, let it out. And then we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Ready, set, go. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Everyone take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Now, breathing is a really important thing that all of us can do. Anytime that we feel that life is too much and the stress is getting us down, stop and take a couple of deep breaths in and just let it all go out. Just release it. Because the simple task of taking those breaths in and putting them out can do wonders. Now, I began some stretching exercises with you before we came on. So we're going to do some of those. When everyone take their hands and put them above their head and shake out their hands, shake, 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 shake. I want you to feel the blood circulating in those hands. Feel the blood moving. I like to make it where my hands wiggle, wiggle. Okay, now we're going to stretch out. We're going to push out the walls. We're going to push out as far as we can. As far as we can. Reach up to the top. Reach up to the top. I want you to bend down and touch your toes. Bend down and touch your toes. Touch your toes. Okay. I want you to take your hands and I want you to stretch over to the right side. Stretch over to the left side. I want you to take your hand, and we're going to gently turn to the right-hand side. Turn and hold. We're going to come back to the center. Look the other way. And hold. Center. And the other way. Now we're going to take and we're going to drop our head gently, and we're just going to go halfway to the, from the right to the left side, just to go halfway and hold and go back the other side. Slowly, 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 slowly hold and go back the other way. Now, if we stop and imagine when things got really busy, if we did these simple stretching exercises or these breathing exercises, could this change your life? Yeah, and they're really simple.
Absolutely.
They don't cost any money. You don't have to buy any special clothes. You don't have to go to any special wear. You can stay in your house. You can do it in the bathroom. You can do it in the bedroom. You can do it in your bed. You can do it anywhere. So let's look at the next one here. The next one here is this is how we create a ritual. The first thing is you got to prepare your environment. So for example, if you're a runner, you want to put your shoes next to your bed. So when you get out of your bed, you're going to go ahead and start running. You want to, if you're a writer, you want to put a notepad and a pen next to your bed. I've created a ritual when I go to the health club. When I go to the health club and I got my gym bag, I put my gym bag on the floor next to the shower. I take my towels out and I put it on the rack. I take my soap stuff and I put it out over there. When I go to the pool, I take my gym bag. I don't want to use a locker. I put it out by the pool. When I come back, I bring the gym bag in the locker room, put it on the bench with my shower cap, with my goggles. I sit there and then go and do my shower. So I don't have to worry about leaving things behind because I've created this ritual where everything follows in a particular order. Now, one of the things we need to do is we need to find the most productive time of the day. Are you a morning person or are you an evening person? And one of the strategies that it was recommended is you do the hard task first. And you want to focus on completion, not perfection. So many of us are working and working and working. So I've started this new hobby, and I really love painting watercolors. And to me, the best time of day is to do it at the end of the day. You know, when I feel like I'm exhausted, I want to go to sleep. If I then pull out my watercolors and I start doing some drawing and doing some sketching and then pull out the paint, it's amazing how this energy comes back to me. And I can go to sleep and feel entirely, totally relaxed. How many think something like that might work for you? Could that work for you?
Yes, it would.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is why we need rituals in our lives. We need rituals in our life because they are the self-care of the world. And so there's several things that you can do. There's these set of affirmations by this guy, Bob Baker. I go to this class on every Sunday. I go to this thing and they've got these wonderful self-affirmations that we say, I'm enough, the money is flowing me easily, effortlessly, and so on and so forth. And you can listen to Bob Baker's affirmations. You can go to a sheet of affirmations and find the one. You can paste one up on the mirror. You can simply write the word of I am enough and say it to yourself. I have this other practice and I want to share it with you, okay? I want everyone to do this with me. I want you to think of yourself. I'm going to say some positives trait about myself, and I want everyone on this platform to add one adjective that describes themselves. Are you with me, everybody? So we're not going to stop until I hear something for every one of you. So the first one I'm going to begin and say is, I am positive. Judith, what are you about you?
I am optimistic.
Okay, Marie, what about you?
I'm enthusiastic.
Okay, Tim, what about you?
I am happy.
Okay, Kathy, what about you?
I am worthy.
Someone else. I can't see any more names.
Gavin,
Yep.
realistic.
Okay, someone else.
I am accepting.
Good.
I'm humorous.
Good,
I'm energetic.
good,
I'm kind.
wonderful.
Um, and
excited.
You're what?
Excited.
Good. Someone else?
I'm an encourager.
Lovely.
I-
Someone else?
I am motivated.
Great,
I'm hopeful.
good,
I'm conscientious.
lovely. Gladys? Sheridan?
I'm hopeful.
Good. Sheridan?
Looks like it,
I'm sorry?
uh, I,
I think she might be having trouble with her audio.
Okay, so we get the idea, we get the idea of the first one. And this, and you always end with this statement. And today will be the best day of my life, and I get better and better every day. Everyone write that down. And today is the best day of my life, and I get better and better each and every day. You got that? Okay. Now, the next thing that you say to yourself is you thank whoever is out there and the being for bringing you all the gifts that you get from expected and unexpected ways that come to you in ways that you could never imagine. So let me say that again very slowly. I thank the one above me who brings me an endless supply of gifts that come and helped me in so many ways that I could never, ever imagine, that come to me endlessly and effortlessly, and all the people who are coming to help me. You got that? Basically, yes? All of you say aye?
Please say again, or can you
Aye.
put it in the chat?
Okay, I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I want to thank you above me who gives me an endless supply of things that come to me in all sorts of ways that I never could imagine, that are helping me to become a better person. And it might have shifted one or two words, but that's the basic sense of the being there. Does that work? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and the last and the third part is talking about money. And I'm grateful for money that comes into me in all sorts of ways, imagine and not imagine, that are helping me to make the world a bright and a better place. So I thank the one above me who's helping me to gain money financially, to help people in ways that I could never have imagined, to help make the world a better place. Sound good? Okay.
yes.
I learned that practice. It was a women's empowerment, and it was at a Sri Lankan event, I believe it was. And I remember the lady who taught me, and I said, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. I read this other book. I want to recommend it to you. It's called Grace, Gift, and Guidance. And what this book is, it's a bunch of different sayings that has a story that begins each day, and it has a word. And whenever I open up this book, it magically opens up to the thing I need to read. And so you can pick a word that you're going to do each day and have that word be the world of calmness. There's a meditation that I listened to by Mel Robbins and Jonathan Quick, and they say that you could walk into a room, and whenever you walk in that room, you're going to be the light that sparks up the room in happiness. or you're going to be the one who walks in that room and brings calmness. That wherever you meet, you bring calmness. And so you repeat to yourself each and every day, regardless of what happens, I am calm, cool, and collect. I am calm, cool, and collect. I am calm, cool, and collect. And we do these rituals because they help us to manage our time better. You can make a simple ritual as easy as going ahead and calling a friend. And this is why rituals are so important in our life. So we've come to the time. I've had plenty of time to give you some tools, some strategies on self-care, give you some tips on how you can manage your time, how you can do better rituals. And I want to open up the floor to all of you who might have some questions or things that they'd like to ask me that I can go ahead and answer for them.
I'd like to say how beautiful your speech was. It was very thorough. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate that. You are such an inspiration and a powerhouse. Catherine is one of my good friends, and whenever I feel like there's someone I need to talk to, she's the one who's there that picks up the call. Somebody else?
Rosalyn, it's Marie here.
Thank you.
I really could relate to what you said about rituals, and I have developed a ritual out of necessity. I suffer from plantar fasciitis, and I would have pain from the moment I woke up and put my feet on the floor, and I needed to stretch them. And I discovered that using one of those wooden rollers before my feet touch the floor, I just pull it out with my toes under the bedside stand and roll my feet for 30 seconds. And I walk pain-free. And it's such a good start to the day. And though it's not for everyone, you've reminded me, if that ritual works for me, I need to have more rituals, because I've certainly proven that one has made a major difference to my health and well-being, knowing that I don't start the day in pain.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that. I too have back pains, and I had an operation on my back that gave me scoliosis, and the doctor told me that lotion was motion for me. So there's a reason I get up every morning and I stretch for 30 minutes. And when I don't stretch, I feel the difference. It's literally night and day. Anybody else?
For me, Rosalyn, my question is, one of the biggest distractions I have is my mobile phone. And in my workplace, the software we use these days requires using your software to activate software. So, and when I do that, I get distracted all the time. Do you have any suggestions how to make better use of time for productivity with all this modern media devices?
Well, I think one of the things is to turn off the notifications. Turn off the notifications. The other thing I do is when I'm working, I turn my phone off to silencer, is to literally, there's a method that Jonathan Quick had that he in his book talks about. It's limitless learning. And he says, set a time bracket of 20 minutes, and you set the timer for 20 minutes and you do a certain activity, and then you take a 10-minute break. Maybe that break is getting a sip of water, doing 5 jumping jacks, opening up the door, going outside, seeing the light, and something like that. And when you set a time limit where you're focused for that, and then you take a break away, it is so important. And I think that might help. Do you think that would work for you?
Yes, I think that'll work for me, yes.
Fantastic. Anybody else? I see something in the chat there. I'm ignoring the chat here. When you're talking, you ignore the chat. Thank you, Angela. I really appreciate that. Put it on silent, put it on face down. Oh, that's great. Expression of gratitude to others is always important. Someone recommended me to spend 10 minutes a week expressing gratitude to someone at work who would not expect that. I love that. Life Lessons from the Monk Who Sold His for, oh, that is a great book, Lessons in Chemistry. I'm not sure. Oh, this is beautiful, beautiful. I love this. Thank you so much. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, or concerns?
Only about what I'm going to have for lunch.
Okay, what are you gonna have for lunch? I don't know what you're gonna have for lunch, but you know, I had a great salad. Salads always were good. Have some good fresh fruit and things like that. So I want you, if anyone else doesn't have any more comments or questions, you could do me a favor, and if you would go in the chat and put in the chat what is the most useful thing that I talked about today that you can promise yourself you're going to do. So of all the things I went ahead and talked about, what is the number one thing that you're going to take and make a practice in your life? Okay, someone said we have another contest coming up in 30 minutes. So if you can go ahead and put something in the chat there. I'm so sorry about if you can put something in the chat there. It really was truly a lot of fun. And let me just take you to the next slide. Take you to the next slide. You can put that in the chat. This is how, if you want to find more about me, you can visit my webpage, which is Rosalyn Kahn, or you can send me an email at that message. If you know of any other groups or organizations that might be interested in hearing from me, you can send me a message in the chat and let me know. It's truly been an honor and a pleasure speaking to each and every one of you. When I began this thing, I said, how in the world are they going to make this last? But I love having each of you participate in that. And I think that's truly what made this such a rich and exciting, energetic thing. My name is Rosalyn Kahn. It's truly been an honor. And let me say my favorite words, namaste, and gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for your
Namaste.
fantastic keynote speech for us, Rosalyn. And it has been our privilege to have you for our conference today.